Let's try a little thought experiment. What if you took the universe's entire 13.8 billion year history and squeezed it into a single calendar year? Well, if you did that, your entire life would be a flicker so brief it barely even registers. And in the grand scheme of things, every trace of humanity will eventually be erased. That's the truth we all spend our lives trying to ignore, isn't it? But here, in this explainer, we're not going to look away. We're going to stare directly into that erasure and perform a technical audit of the ego.
Okay, so let's really put this in perspective with what's called the cosmic calendar. If the Big Bang is midnight on January 1st, our own galaxy, the Milky Way, doesn't even show up until May. Earth is a late arrival on September 14th. And modern humans, get this, we don't appear until the very last minute of the entire year.
So where are you in all this? Your first breath, your greatest heartbreak, your proudest moment, all of it, every memory you have, takes place in less than a single millisecond on this scale. It's just a fleeting spark in an absolutely immense darkness. And here's the end game. It's not some abstract possibility, it's an inevitability. It's not a matter of if, but when. Everything we've ever built, everything we've ever thought or felt, it will all vanish completely, like a whisper in a hurricane. This is the baseline reality we have to start from. Okay, so how does this cosmic reality create such a deep conflict inside our own heads? Well, it's pretty simple. Our brains are hardwired, they're built to find patterns and create significance out of everything, but they're trapped inside a universe that fundamentally offers none. You know, from a clinical perspective, there's actually a name for the condition we all suffer from. It's called existential dysmorphia. It's that deep, almost unconscious belief that our personal dramas, our career struggles, our anxieties, have some kind of grand cosmic importance. And right here, this is the core of the conflict. Our ego absolutely insists that our story, our life, matters to the cosmos. But the universe, in its silent, logical truth, is just completely indifferent. It's not cruel, it doesn't hate your dreams, it just literally doesn't know they exist. And this isn't just a philosophical idea. It's baked into the laws of physics. The Second Law of Thermodynamics basically dictates that everything falls apart. Order becomes chaos. Information decays into noise. So this whole idea of leaving a legacy, it's really just building an empire of sand. It's a slightly longer delay before the tide of entropy washes it all away. Now, truly understanding this cosmic indifference, well, it can be absolutely devastating. It can lead to this profound state of paralysis, a feeling that nothing is worth doing. This is the shadow of the truth. This is what's called the dark night of the soul. This is the question the ego just screams when it finally comes face to face with the scale of the void. We can call this state nihilistic paralysis. And this is where a lot of people get lost, because they think that a lack of cosmic purpose means a lack of any purpose at all. And this paralysis, it's often rooted in our deep cultural conditioning, isn't it? We're taught from day one to look for meaning from some external authority, a god, a nation, a pre-written destiny. So when we realize those authorities might not actually be there, we can feel like ghosts floating through our own lives. And this brings us right to the bottom of the abyss. It's that moment of total surrender, that point right before a profound and honestly liberating realization can happen. If all that external meaning is stripped away, what's actually left? But here's the twist. This is the turning point, because this abyss, it can build into an unexpected freedom. The void isn't a dead end, it's a blank page. This right here is the big realization. The absence of a pre-written inherited purpose isn't a curse. It's a sovereign mandate. It's the ultimate command to create meaning for yourself, because you're finally free from the burden of performing for a cosmic audience that isn't even watching. Think about it this way. If the universe doesn't provide any meaning, that means you are the only one who can. You're the only entity capable of creating it for yourself. Your story doesn't need to be read by the cosmos for it to be valid. The act of writing it, of living it, that's the entire point. So this brings us to a final synthesis, a really powerful philosophy called Optimistic Nihilism. It's all about finding joy and purpose not in spite of the universe's indifference, but actually because of it. When you fully, truly accept that your existence is just a beautiful cosmic accident, every single moment begins to transform. That ordinary cup of coffee you have every morning,
That fleeting conversation you have with a friend, suddenly they become these precious, miraculous moments born out of impossible odds, a little bit of connection in an ocean of silence. And every sunset becomes this staggering piece of art. The fact that it all ends is precisely what makes the experience of it so incredibly profound. Your whole focus just shifts entirely. That desperate need to be great in the eyes of some indifferent history book just fades away. And what takes its place is the profound importance of being present in the theater of your own consciousness, because that is the only arena that actually matters. And this is the ultimate takeaway. You're not just an insignificant speck of dust. You are a rare biological anomaly that has the astonishing privilege of observing reality. For one brief, brilliant moment, you are the universe experiencing itself. So I'll just leave you with this one question. What if we stopped running from this truth? What if you found that once you accept the void, it isn't empty and terrifying at all? It's just quiet. And in that silence, you are finally, truly free. All right, hello and welcome. Today we're going to do something a little intense. We are staring directly into an idea so huge, so unsettling that most of us, we spend our entire lives trying to look away. We're going to confront the profound absolute indifference of the universe. But, and this is the important part, we're going to find out how that very confrontation can lead us not to despair, but to this incredible, optimistic kind of freedom. So yeah, let's just dive right in. This quote, man, it just perfectly sets the stage for what we're talking about today. It's not just about our own lives ending. It's about everything. Everything humanity has ever built, ever thought, ever felt, just gone. Wiped clean. It's a really heavy thought, I know, but you gotta stick with me here, because actually wrapping our heads around this is the absolute crucial first step. So to really get a handle on this kind of scale, our brains just aren't built for it. Our intuition fails us completely, so we need a better tool. And the source material gives us this brilliant one called the cosmic calendar, which basically squishes all of time into a single manageable year. Okay, so check this out. When you look at it this way, the staggering thing is just how late we show up to the party. I mean, it's insane. If the Big Bang happens on January 1st, all of human history, our empires, our art, our great revolutions, all of it happens in the last 2 seconds of December 31st. And your entire life, everything you've ever known or felt, it's less than a blink of an eye on New Year's Eve. Just let that sink in for a second. We're not a chapter in the book of the universe. We're not even a sentence or a word. We are a flicker, a tiny, momentary flicker. That is the cold, hard, objective truth of our place in the grand scheme of things. So, why does this objective fact feel so personal, so painful? Well, it's because it forces our ego to go through what the source calls a technical audit. And honestly, that audit reveals some pretty uncomfortable bugs in our own psychological programming. Okay, so the first bug is what the source calls existential dysmorphia. You know that feeling when you have a stressful deadline or you get in a dumb argument and it feels like the most important thing in the world? That's basically it. We act as if the universe is hanging on our every decision, when in reality, it literally has no idea we even exist. And this brings us to the second bug, which is brilliantly illustrated here. We fight against this void, right? We try to build a legacy, something that will last forever. But the second law of thermodynamics, which says all order eventually decays into chaos, well, that applies to meaning too. A legacy isn't permanent. It's just a slightly longer delay before the inevitable fade to black. And this, right here, is such a crucial point. The universe isn't some big villain out to crush your spirit. It's not malicious. It's just indifferent. It's like a vast, silent operating system that wasn't designed with us in mind at all. And realizing this isn't a tragedy, it's just a diagnosis of reality. Facing this indifference, though, well, that can trigger a pretty dangerous response in us. When our ego finally realizes it's not the center of the universe, it just screams. And that scream can lead to a state of complete and utter shutdown. And this is the question, isn't it? This is the ego's scream turned into a thought. It's the logical, terrifying trap that asks, if nothing matters in the long run, why bother doing anything at all? This is the thought that leads directly to what our source material calls nihilistic paralysis. So here it is. This is the big bad of our story. It's that awful feeling of being a ghost in your own life. It's where the perceived lack of some ultimate cosmic purpose makes every single action feel totally and completely pointless. This is that dark night of the soul where, frankly, a lot of people get lost. And the reason this paralysis is so powerful is because, for most of human history, we've been conditioned to expect an inherited purpose. We were told that meaning would be handed to us by God or the state or some grand destiny, but the new reality is the void. There's no script. No one is coming to give you your lines.
But, and this is a huge but, this is not the end of the story, not even close. This is where we make the great pivot. Because if you look closer at that big, scary shadow, you realize it's not what you think it is.
This line right here, this is the heart of this entire explainer. The absence of a pre-written destiny isn't a curse. It's a promotion. It's a complete transfer of authority from the universe directly to you. So think about what this really means. The universe's indifference doesn't actually erase meaning. It creates a vacuum. And since it provides no meaning whatsoever, you, yes you, become the only entity in existence capable of creating it. That isn't a burden. It's a sovereign mandate. I absolutely love this metaphor. Think of your life as a book that no one else will ever read. Now, that doesn't make the story meaningless. No way. It makes the story yours and yours alone. That paralysis, that shadow we talked about, it only wins if you put down the pen and refuse to write the next sentence. So what happens when we combine this terrifying truth of the void with the incredibly empowering truth of the sovereign mandate? Well, we arrive at this beautiful, practical philosophy, optimistic nihilism. And this is where the whole thing just flips on its head. If our existence is nothing more than a brief cosmic accident, well then it's not meaningless, it's miraculous. Suddenly, every cup of coffee, every simple conversation, every sunset you watch becomes an event of such impossible odds that it should be treated as the precious, fleeting miracle that it is. This means the entire goal of life shifts. You can just let go of that desperate, ego-driven need to be great in the eyes of a history that won't remember you anyway. The new goal, and it's a much more achievable one, is simply to be present in the eyes of your own consciousness, to actually experience the miracle while it's here. And this might be the perfect way to cap it all off. You're a biological anomaly with this rare, incredible privilege. For just a brief moment, you're the part of the cosmos that gets to wake up and witness itself. The fact that this whole experience ends is exactly what makes it so precious. Ultimately, the terror we feel doesn't actually come from the void itself. It comes from us resisting it. The pain isn't the truth. The pain is trying to run away from the truth. So, what happens when you stop running? What happens when you finally turn around and calmly, quietly, just accept the indifferent silence of the universe? You find that the void isn't some screaming monster after all. It's surprisingly quiet, and in that silence, free from the burden of cosmic purpose, free from performing for an audience that isn't even there, you are finally, truly free to write your own story.